I've been hearing a lot of individuals say that misandry is nothing but a response to misogyny. So what they're essentially saying is that there are some women out there that simply don't know any better, or apparently have any sort of moral compass, because since whenever did two wrongs make a right? The funny thing is, well, I guess it's not really that funny, more like sad. There are actually women that think this. They think that they're seeing a good man who's married to someone else.
A woman's main embarrassment will always be a man.
Interesting. And while I can see where some of them are coming from in regards to this, it seems that some women have their priorities all wrong in regards to what they really should be embarrassed about. Some of their attitudes, which seem to be overly entitled in many cases with an overly diluted sense of grandeur.
Please stop giving these ugly men a chance.
Interesting.
He does not treat you better when he's ugly.
So what exactly is the point of this video?
He knows that you're out of his league, and he is going to try to knock your ass down to his.
Well, it's just my opinion, but a person shouldn't date anyone that doesn't treat them well. Looks are all well and good. However, just because someone is attractive doesn't mean that they're a good person. And the moral of that story is that in order to be able to win at life, women need to start treating people, specifically men, like objects, credit cards. Ironically, women don't like it when they're treated like objects, but apparently it's okay as long as women do it.
They need to fucking calm down. Women will never walk past you or run past you and go, morning. Women don't do that. Women don't harass women. Only men harass women.
Gentlemen, I'm just going to say it. It really seems that men simply cannot win. Because now, according to some, if a man even says good morning to a woman, he's harassing her. You can't make this stuff up.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
This is becoming quite sad, actually, because if we were to believe most things that a lot of women say, is that they do things like that, like shave their legs, for themselves, not for men. But here's another question. So if a girl cancels a date on a guy, does that mean that he gets to charge her for his time? And if so, I wonder how much.
It's a really great point. Stop wasting money on these modern women, and honestly and truly, start investing in yourself. And that's what our sponsor today, Anson Belt & Buckle, helps us to do. These guys are family owned, been doing it since 2009, and have completely reinvented how belts should work. So instead of those holes that you have on your belt, I know I have them on mine that have been there for a long time. Anson uses this micro adjustable track system with they're like a 1/4 inch increments. So the belt is going to fit perfectly every time. That's what I love about it. You don't have to guess. It fits every single time. And because you have this micro adjustable track system, it's going to give you that perfect fit every single time. And trust me, after you try one of these belts, you're not going to want to go back to the belt that you had before. And one of the biggest things for me is you can mix and match any buckle with any strap. So you're always going to have that belt that's going to match your outfit perfectly without having to go out there and buy dozens of belts that are going to clutter up your closet like me, right? Ever since receiving these belts, I have about 10 or 15, and I'm not joking with you, 10 or 15 belts in there that I can remove because, like I said, you can mix and match belt buckles and straps to get different combinations. And another thing that I would add is it's not just about, oh, I look good. It's not just about style. It's about feeling more comfortable, confident. I would say confident, and just an overall sense of feeling more polished in what you wear. You know what I mean? Anson belts adjust. They adjust with you throughout the day. So whether you might be standing a lot, you might be sitting, or you might be on the move. Whatever you're doing, you're always comfortable, and then you always look sharp doing that. And once you try this thing, trust me, you will not go back to your old belt. For what? The thing is obsolete. Why would you try to struggle and twist and turn when this thing, click, and you're going on about your day? And if you're like me, I'm pretty skeptical about a lot of stuff. But these guys are family owned and operated. And when I look at the reviews, I think they have somewhere around 40,000 plus 5-star reviews. When I look at that, I'm like, oh, family owned, been in business since 2009. It makes me trust that they're going to do me right. And because Anson Belt and Buckle is sponsoring today's video, when you click the link in the description or scan the QR code to build a box set, you'll get 2 bonus pieces, a buckle and a strap completely free. That's 3 buckles and 3 straps, which can be mixed and matched into 9 unique belt combos, all in one box. It's an exclusive deal you won't get anywhere else. So click the link, build your set, and upgrade your belt game today.
And on today's episode of Seeking Attention, Validation, and Approval from Random Strangers on the Internet, we have an individual who's being not so subtly sexist towards male doctors and could have just saved everyone a whole lot of time by doing a little research before going to the appointment and verified who their doctor was and what their gender happened to be. But I understand that that would have actually taken a little bit of forethought. But I really do hope they keep that same energy for women who perform vasectomies.
We dance, we kiss, we schmooze, we carry on, we go home happy. What do you say? Come on.
Okay, I have what might seem like a silly question, but what exactly is the logical reason why women should hate all men? Is there one? Because I have heard numerous reasons why women should hate some men. I have yet to hear an actual reason why women should hate all men. So I'm really hoping that someone can actually answer this question for me in a logical, reasonable manner. Now, I know that there will be some individuals out there that will call me names. That's to be expected. But that's only because they can't actually answer the question. So for those women that say they hate men, why? Why do you hate all men? Is it because some men did bad things and are still doing bad things? Is it because some men out there in the world have power and you think that women don't? Really, I'm actually hoping for a reason why someone would encourage hate. Unless, of course, it's just to turn a profit.
The number one person that you should never have empathy for is a man.
Okay, now I'm curious. Why exactly is it that men don't deserve empathy?
They are not deserving of your empathy. They are going to take your empathy and weaponize it against you and set you back further in life.
It's ironic that they said that, actually, because I'm sure most of us are aware that there's more than a few women that do that very same thing to men. They take the most traumatic and hurtful experiences that they've been foolish enough to share with another person, and that woman uses it against them in some way to shame them, to make them feel like less than. But yet, in this case, it's men that don't deserve empathy because of the actions of a few men. Gee, I wonder if women are deserving of empathy based on the actions of some as well.
The reason why they need your empathy so badly to weaponize is because your empathy is going to give them a chance for them to keep repeatedly hurting you. That's the reason why you can't give them any empathy in the first place.
Interestingly enough, the thing that a lot of content creators that make this type of content don't want to admit is that that particular narrative can actually work both ways for men as well as women. So if we're going to say because some individuals treat others badly that they don't deserve empathy, does that prove true for the entire group? Oh, but wait, that doesn't sound quite right if it's about women, does it?
A lot of modern women continue to say that men aren't putting forth effort. Yes, I am. I'm just not giving you the effort. Because you on some BS.
You want to know the saddest part about that post? And it wasn't even the language used or the message that it's trying to give. It's the fact that there are women that make these types of posts and like them and repost them that will actually still have the audacity to say that women are oppressed in the Western world. Because I might point out that if this was made in a place where women actually still do face oppression, because there are places like this, the reaction to these types of things would go in a completely different way. Women in the Western world are some of the most privileged groups of people that have ever existed in history. And if you think otherwise, well then, I would really like you to tell me how you're not privileged, because making things like this really does say a lot about the character of a lot of women. And it really goes to show that misandry is becoming ever more popular with every single passing day.
I've got
Now, what I'm about to say might be a bit harsh. However, it needs to be said. But not everyone is fit to be a parent. Especially if you're the type of person that thinks that it's perfectly okay to teach your children to hate. Now, I understand that that video was probably meant to be a joke. However, I fail to see actually where it was funny. And if someone could explain to me where teaching children to despise entire groups of people based on a characteristic that they have no control over, I would be more than willing to listen as to why that is actually funny. I'm sure there would be a lot of individuals out there that would also love an explanation as well, why that is something to joke about. Because there are people that teach their children to hate because of skin color. But apparently it's okay to hate if it's just about gender. You know what I find really funny about videos like these? It's that the women that probably make them most likely consider themselves to be actual feminists that believe in equality. Yet, they seem to think that men should give up their seats for women because it's something that men should do just to be nice. But to me, it rather says that you consider yourself to be less than a man. Because you need their assistance. You need to sit down. You're not strong enough to stand up on your own. You need a man to do things for you. So you don't consider yourself to be equal at all. So you're not really a feminist, are you? And I know that the term feminism gets a bad reputation, but at the end of the day, feminism, originally at least, meant equality between men and women and equal treatment. So essentially, if you didn't get there in time to get a seat, I guess you're just out of luck. It's only the beginning of the month, and I'm already quite sick of seeing these types of videos. And I have seen more than my fair share. And if I happen to be sick of seeing them, I can only imagine what all those men out there must be thinking at this point. I mean, their mental health is a joke to so many women. It is really quite disgusting because a lot of these same women want everyone to support them in their issues, but yet they don't have the slightest bit of empathy for anyone else. If they call themselves women, then I am ashamed to call myself one as well, because that is not the type of thing that a woman, let alone an adult, should be doing. And I don't want to hear a single thing about oppression from any of these women because they've proven they're not oppressed.
A lot of these modern women like to comment on a man's masculinity. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Well, I believe a man should be this, and this, right? But I think the problem is a lot of these modern women really don't have a concept of what a man is. You can have an opinion, but the unfortunate thing for a lot of these modern women is their opinion is wrong. Their opinion of what a man is and what a man should be is wrong. That's not actually how a man works. That's not actually how masculinity works. They don't know that. They're just talking about what they read in some book somewhere.
What a very interesting post. And it will never cease to amaze me that some individuals actually have time to, I hope, proofread those things and then still decide that it's a good idea to put it out there on the internet for everyone to see. But for those ladies and some gentlemen out there that will probably agree with that post, what exactly makes you think that way? I really wonder how a person could come to that conclusion, because ironically some of those women that make posts like these are the very same ones that they say have more empathy than men, yet seem to be incapable of displaying it. Because I hope you do realize that men are victims as well. They're not trying to convince you that they're victims. They actually are. So where is that empathy that you talk so much about? Because men, in fact, do care about their mental health as well as that of others. And if you don't see that, well, then that's the bigger problem. So this is the response that I received. And I must say, it has lived up to all of my expectations. But I have a follow-up question. Why does a person think that a group of people who is being disparaged for no other reason that they happen to be members of that group don't need defending? I really look forward to hearing that answer. And if I'm embarrassing myself for standing up for what I believe in, then what does that say about any person that does the same? Are they embarrassing themselves because not everyone happens to agree with what they're saying? How unfortunate, because if that were the case, then no one would ever stand up for what they believe in because they were afraid of being embarrassed. I really must say, the only embarrassing thing that I am actually seeing here is the response that I received. Because quite frankly, I was hoping for something at least rational or reasonable. But as I said, it sadly lived up to all of my expectations. Excuse me, but what? Everyone, read that very carefully. And the fact that that was actually even a suggestion, in my opinion, is absolutely beyond ridiculous. We may have actually now reached that point. In fact, we drove right past it, of no return when it comes to absolute lunacy. Because please do explain to me, as well as millions of other women who have been female for our entire lives, who have gone through the difficulties of childhood, the struggles of adolescence as girls, and have finally matured into fully grown adult women, have to learn about what it is like being a woman and how to be a woman from someone who is going to be in need of a prostate exam. Please explain to me how an individual such as that is a subject matter expert in that particular department. I'm sure that we're all looking forward to the explanation.
I would love to know. What do we need y'all for?
Besides the ability to reproduce? Well, from what I can see, if it wasn't for men being around, some would have no one to blame everything in the world on.
And what's funny is a lot of these modern women will go down a list of things that they expect a man to do. And then they'll be like, oh, if he doesn't do this, then he's getting chopped. Oh, he's getting cut. And all that. And so a man might go a couple of weeks, or it used to be months on end, trying to do the things for you. But you're unappreciative of them is essentially what it comes down to. She might drag a man on doing things, simping for her, basically, at that point. It'd be one thing if she was actually reciprocating and she was giving him that same type of energy back or similar, right? At least dump me a bone, do something for me. But you're not doing any of that. And so you got him in there 3-4 months deep doing for you, and you waiting on somebody else to come scoop you up. You hoping that the dude that you actually want gonna come and get you, gonna show you some interest. And he doesn't. And that's how modern women lose their position in dating. They'll try to hold on to somebody else thinking, oh, he gonna be here forever, trying to get this other person. And if I don't get this other person, I still have him over here. And I'll just keep on doing the same thing over and over again until I find somebody that I actually like. And then when it's time for me to break it to them, I'll talk to the group and they'll say some stupid stuff. Well, you know, it was never meant to be. I've been feeling this way over the past 2 or 3 weeks. Lying. You've been feeling this way over the past 3 to 5 years. You just been messing around with me because that other man didn't want you. Now, when you look like you have the opportunity, you're going to run to him. Once again, the problem is you're going to run to him. He's going to pump you, dump you, and he's going to send you on back to me. And you're going to want me to handle your foolishness. But I'm not. But that's the way modern women think. I'm going to keep him on the hook, keep him running around and chasing me while I chase this other man. And when after 10 years, that man that I want don't want me, and I'm clear on that, I'm hoping that the man that I kept on putting on the back burner still wants me.
Men will literally be like, I'm fighting battles no one knows about. The whole time it's just thoughts.
And believe it or not, even after seeing that, there are still some out there that wonder why the majority of men genuinely choose not to share their thoughts and their innermost, deepest feelings with another person, especially with a woman. Because contrary to what many out there might be thinking, it is usually not men that would make that sort of a joke or downplay a man's mental health or their possible inner turmoils. They are more apt oftentimes to listen to another man if he's going through a struggle. But the ones that are most likely to make a joke are the ones that have been called the most empathetic of the two genders. And that would fall to some women out there. Because, in my opinion, some women, frankly, don't see other men as people. They don't even see them as human beings. And that is unfortunate.
I went on a date with like a medium ugly man today.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him why his last relationship ended. And
Well, isn't that a great icebreaker for a first date conversation?
he said because he stopped being attracted to her after a year and he broke up with her.
What? What's wrong with that? The guy was honest. He admitted why he ended his last relationship, because he was no longer attracted to the person that he was in a relationship with. But yet some seem to have a problem with that.
Y'all, the audacity of men. I will not be seeing him again.
I don't get it. Where's the audacity? Are they insinuating that simply because someone isn't as good looking as they think they should be, that they're not allowed to have their preferences in who they date in regards to actually being attracted to their partner? Oh my goodness, ladies, just because some of you date men that you're not attracted to simply apparently for the stories, that doesn't mean that men are going to start dating women that they're not attracted to simply because you think they should. My goodness.
One of the other reasons I'm child-free is because what if it's a boy? Ew.
Well, wasn't that just cute? But believe it or not, even after seeing that, there will still be multitudes of individuals that actually have the gall to say that misandry doesn't actually exist. But on another note, I am fully in support of any individual who chooses to remain child-free. And there are many reasons for that. But the main one happens to be that, as many of us have seen, there are lots of individuals who have demonstrated over and over again that they are probably not the most suitable ones to be parents. Because after all, being a parent is quite a hefty responsibility. The main task being to raise someone from being a child to an adult, ensuring that they are educated, well-rounded, accepting, and overall a good person. And as we have seen, there are a lot of individuals out there that simply don't seem to have those qualifications.
I don't think men should be allowed to work for grocery delivery services.
What does that sound like?
Oh my gosh, that's so sexist.
Yeah, well, it is.
No, I don't care. I don't care.
At least they're admitting that it's sexist. But let's hear why they don't think that men should be allowed to work for grocery delivery services.
I'm just tired of my groceries being consistently messed up. Every time.
Every time?
I don't know what it is. So in my area, there are not like a lot of grocery delivery drivers. They're like a core group of people. And most of the time, I either get this like wondrous, amazing, incredible woman, or I get this man who, listen, I'm not saying he doesn't try really hard, but what I am saying is that he's not trying hard enough. Or I don't know, maybe he's never actually grocery shopped like for himself in his whole life, but some of the substitutions are bizarre. Like, one time I ordered trash bags, right? I guess they were out of my specific kind I ordered. So instead of picking any one of the other like 25 trash bag brands, his substitution were quarter Ziploc bags. Another time I ordered a specific type of icing for like a cake, and I guess they were out, and this man literally brought me like a thing of sugar, like granulated sugar. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. And I feel like it's my own fault because I don't report him because I don't want him to get in trouble. I don't want him to do mine.
Right. So since one has had a few less than satisfactory experiences with men doing one's personal shopping, it's now perfectly acceptable to say that men shouldn't be working in certain professions. Okay, let's switch the gender roles on that and see if it's still acceptable to say.
A lot of times these modern women got away with the man planning all of this stuff. The flowers, I'll get you flowers. Oh, well, I really don't want to ride with you. I don't really know you. Well, I don't know you, so why would I be buying you flowers? Oh, well, it's different because you need to impress me. Okay, well, then how is it different if we both meet on a level playing field? I don't buy you anything, you don't buy me anything. There's not really any expectation but to come up here and get to know each other. It's a nice gesture if I were to buy you flowers, but it's not something that should be expected because once again, we don't really know each other. We're just feeling each other out. If I like you and we have another date, hey, I was thinking about you. Oh man, I appreciate that. But too many times, modern women are expecting, they feel entitled to this type of behavior. Well, my friends do it. Oh, this person did it and that person did it. Actually, what you're not saying is that person might have not started off doing that. Your friend might have not started off doing that for you. And over time, as they got to know you, they started thinking about you more and more. A relationship is...
If you're a woman coming on the internet posting your opinion and your comments are filled with men agreeing with you, it's probably time to reevaluate said opinion.
Well, that was more than mildly troubling. And I will say, if you are amongst that group that actually considers that statement to be valid, I would highly recommend that you do some self-reflection and actually consider what your real beliefs are. Because if you're willing to change your opinions and possibly your entire belief system just so that a particular demographic will validate those opinions, then I would say you don't actually have any beliefs of your own and you're entirely dependent upon others to tell you what and how to think. And that is really quite sad, because unfortunately in this age of social media, that really matters to a lot of individuals more than it actually does expressing what they truly believe. Because not everyone is going to always agree with you, and that's fine. But the fact that you would be more concerned about the gender of those that believe you and support you really speaks volumes.
This is why I'm always making fun of women.
Oh, this guy again. Okay. Why is someone always making fun of women?
I want her to look into my eyes and know that I don't care about her feelings. I don't care about offending her.
Could be a bit of a problem there. I mean, someone would need to take their sunglasses off indoors first.
I don't want to comfort her. I want to put her down.
Where's the red flag guy when you need him?
I'm better than her. And I can replace her if she gets mad.
I imagine that happens quite often with any woman with a shred of self-respect.
You know what? If you don't like the joke, get the f*** out of here. How about that?
Nah. I'm having much more fun this way.
That's what happens. They chase me like they have rabies.
Oh, now it's all finally making sense. Because, in my opinion at least, a woman would have to be rather ill to chase after a man that would treat her in such a manner. But then again, there is precedence for such a thing. After all, there are some women out there that actually write to serial unalivers that are spending the rest of their days behind bars. So I guess there's hope. There's someone out there for everyone, it seems.
When you live like this, it's supposed to party.
I have an even better idea. And this specifically goes out to those individuals, namely those very sad women that make content such as this, joking about DV as long as it's against men. And then there's that other equally sad group of women that leave words of encouragement and praise on videos like that. Well, instead of joking about how edgy all of you are and complimenting each other on your amusing little comments, perhaps some of you should take a long look in the mirror and realize what type of person would actually joke about DV. Because I'm sure many of you are aware that thousands upon thousands of individuals, both men as well as women, have to deal with DV from their partner every single year. And not everybody is lucky enough to get out of those situations. So instead of joking about this, maybe some of you should actually think about what type of person would really joke about that.
I have a question. Where are all the good men at?
Have you checked your friend zone?
And I am being so serious right now.
So am I.
I am being for real. I want to know where the good men are at.
Well, quite a lot of them are already in relationships. And if they're not, they're most likely just not interested in dating, because look at the dating pool right now. Can you tell me there's a lot to be interested in?
If you're someone who dates men and also hates men, I feel like those things are at conflict.
You think?
To heal from it, I want to move on, but I feel like where I'm lacking and where we are lacking societally is just having these positive examples of men being good, men being safe, men being trustworthy. So if you have examples of this, I want to know about it. Please share about it.
Maybe open your eyes and realize that good men are actually everywhere, and they far outnumber the bad men. I know that goes contrary to what a lot of individuals out there say, that it's all men, but good men are actually everywhere. If you get out of your echo chamber once in a while, you'd know that.
Men, if you're seeing this, please chime in, please pipe in. Like, are we safe with you? How can we feel safe with you? How can we stop carrying around this hate for men?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the first step would be stop hating people for something about themselves that they can't control. That would probably be a good first step.
You also have to look at another issue where you have A lot of guys out here are hearing, I deserve a man who does X, Y, and Z. The problem with that is that a lot of women, man, they can barely figure out who they are. Their life is not really together. They know, kind of what they want because they see it on TV, but they're not really where they need to be honest. And we can go from, well, this is where I want to be, because there's a lot of people that want to be here, a lot of different places, but we're just talking about where you need to be in order to get a man that you're wanting, or that honestly and truly, once again, that you need. A lot of modern women are not there. You're not even halfway there. There's a lot of stuff that you need to do before you even come close to needing to starting to talk to a man that you actually need. This is stuff that you actually need. You're not even talking about the stuff that you want. Practice? Talking about practice, man.
I used to think men, because they were raised. I am starting to believe, as a parent of a little boy, that they all start out like, and they have to be raised out of it.
Really? It sounds like someone has not done a very good job as a parent thus far, especially if they're talking like that about their own child.
My 6-year-old son, oh my God, he's been on one lately. He's been having a really hard time with a lot of stuff. Fine, whatever.
Okay, does anyone see the problem yet?
I looked at him and I was like, what is going on? What's the problem? This boy leans back and goes, I'm just so sad that Granny died. That's my grandma. He kicked his sister in the face and then blamed it on being sad that my grandma 2 months ago.
Oh dear. There really does seem to be quite a large problem with a lot of women out there that seem to lack the ability to take any form of accountability for any of their actual responsibilities. Because ultimately, whose fault really was that reactions? Was it the little boy? Or was it the parent who had the responsibility of teaching their child how to express their emotions in an acceptable manner? Let's really think about that one for a moment.
Just imagine the amount of arrogance that a person would actually have to have in order to be able to tell someone that unless they belong to a particular demographic, then they should not have an opinion on something. It's almost as much as the amount of entitlement that some individuals seem to have lately in regards to thinking that the world should cater to them and bend to their particular issues, where those of us who actually live in reality do understand that it's us that has to adapt to the world. Yes, reasonable accommodations are made for many things, and again I said reasonable accommodations, but in regards to thinking that some should not have an opinion, welcome to the United States, where every single person has a right to express their opinion, just not everybody has to like it. But I am curious, what exactly did one mean by this comment? How exactly am I? And what does the military do to women? If one was rather implying that it makes women strong and not have to worry about offending those with very delicate sensibilities in regards to having the strength of their convictions to say what they want to say and feel that they need to say, then I suppose that one would be correct. However, if one is implying otherwise, I really am curious to hear.
If men called out other men for misogyny, the way that men like to call out women for feminism, the world would look very different.
It sounds like someone is just simply confused. See, in regards to this,
if men called out other men for misogyny,
men actually do call out other men all the time for misogyny. It's just that you don't see it as often because they tend to keep those things amongst themselves. But most importantly, they're not as performative about calling out other men as women are. But then there's this.
The way that men like to call out women for feminism.
Most men are not calling out feminism. In fact, a lot of men actually support real feminism, which is equality and equal treatment for men and women. But a lot of women really get it twisted when it comes to what actually constitutes feminism, because most of those men are calling out what is known as misandry, which is despising men for being men. But then again, a lot of women who are misandrists are actually deluding themselves into thinking that they are feminists. So it's natural that some women would be confused. Why do I, a woman, support men? I get asked that quite regularly, and a lot of individuals actually assume it's because I want and crave male attention. And that's really a small-minded answer to a very complicated question. But the simplest explanation is that men contrary to what some individuals like to think and say on social media, are people too. They are our fellow human beings who are deserving of love, respect, and understanding, just as much as women are. However, there are a lot of individuals out there that think that because men hold the majority of power in the world, that they do not deserve any kind of consideration or that ever popular word, empathy, from others. And that's very sad. I don't understand why so many women and men think that it's okay to disparage and dehumanize men on a daily basis. Although it really does say a lot about them.
You know, you have these modern women out there, which is kind of wild. They go on Raya and they get rejected. And then they turn around to what they would say is a normal guy, a regular guy, and they punish him for not being elite enough. But you have to remember, you didn't make it past the wait list yourself. You're not elite yourself. So now you're on Hinge talking to a software engineer, telling him that, oh man, your travel photos lack vision. And I know, from that, you're not going to be a good person. You're not really, you're a good person, but you don't have the ambition that I'm looking for, right? Even you picking the restaurant, that's mid. That ain't something that, a person of your caliber should be picking. Should you really be concerned about that? Remember, you thought you were going on Raya. You thought you were going to get on Raya for the elite experience. I'm going to find me at the very least, a D-list actor. But you can't even get in the app. You can't even get in the app. So because your head is blown up and you ain't have no self-awareness, because you think, oh, I'm just the best, which a lot of modern women do. Good for you, for your confidence. But maybe at some point in time, you should say, hey, maybe the software engineer is my speed. Maybe the software engineer is a little bit better than I am. Maybe he's actually elite because he's handling his business and he's making a little bit of money while doing it. But modern women will never say that.
What is being put out there currently as dating advice is seriously beginning to concern me.
Yes, being mean also works, and it's really important when you're talking to a man.
Really? Do tell.
Because if you're too nice, a man's going to take that as an opportunity to take advantage of you, step all over you, and he's just not going to respect you at all.
I think there's a very good reason why it's projected that the majority of women in the very near future are going to be single. And it's not because they're choosing it.
You also have to balance your feminine energy while being mean, and that's what's going to make him respect you.
Huh, silly me. And here I thought that it was always best to just be yourself, as opposed to pretending to be something that you're obviously not, because no one can keep up a facade indefinitely.
And this is known as a black cat energy.
Maybe there was something to that old superstition after all, of having it be bad luck to have a black cat cross your path.
If you're too nice, a man's not going to respect you because he doesn't see that as a challenge. Being too nice is just too easy. If you're a little bit rude, then he's going to see it as a challenge and he's always going to chase you.
Unless, of course, that man has a sense of self-worth, good self-esteem, and prioritizes his own happiness over playing games, in which case he's going to run in the opposite direction. Feminism has gotten a rather bad reputation of late, I've noticed. And I've also seen a lot of individuals, both men as well as women, trying to distance themselves as much as possible from the feminist movement. Because unfortunately, some individuals who do things in the name of feminism and call themselves feminists have absolutely sullied its reputation by their behaviors. Because let's be clear, feminism at its core is about equality. It is about the equal treatment and wanting equal rights for both men as well as women. And there's nothing wrong with that. But some individuals have taken the idea of feminism and turned it on its head. They actually try to say that because they are feminists, that they are going to completely decenter men, do nothing but disparage men, and in some cases say that they despise all men. That is not what feminism is about. And it is unfortunate that it has been taken to such extremes that there are some that don't even want to be associated with it anymore. So honestly, if you're one of those individuals that does those things that I've mentioned in the name of feminism, you're not a feminist. You're just horribly misguided and rather uneducated on the subject of feminism.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably...
Say what now?
First off, Kurt wore a lot of women's clothing.
Wow, really? Now a person might consider to be based on the clothes that they occasionally wore. And on top of that, basically reducing women down to a stereotype, because only women wear dresses, right?
When asked about this, they replied that they wore dresses all the time because they felt comfortable and free.
And a lot of women wear pants because they find them comfortable. Is one next going to start telling women that they're actually because they wear clothing that is traditionally associated with men?
In an interview about their childhood, Kurt said that they mostly hung out around girls and that at one point they thought they might be.
Even if that were the case, it's almost as if being are two completely different things.
Many people who don't have the vocabulary yet to express their gender identity will describe what they're feeling as being. That's exactly what I did in middle school.
So that naturally must make it so for everyone else, right?
Kurt is also quoted as saying that they identify more with the feminine than with the masculine. This is clear proof that Kurt did not identify with the gender they were assigned at birth.
And this is actually evidence in how if a person is looking for something, hoping to prove their own narrative, they'll usually find it.
The most convincing evidence that Kurt was in an early version of Nirvana's All Apologies lyrics, where Kurt wrote, "Let me grow some." That is clear-cut gender dysphoria.
I'm sorry, where exactly did one get one's degree in psychology or in medicine?
Of course, Kurt will never be able to tell us themselves.
How very convenient.
But the evidence makes it pretty obvious they were. That might be why Kurt's no longer with us. Maybe Kurt knew that we weren't ready.
Or maybe one is just jumping on that bandwagon of trying to say that any individual, especially those who are not here to speak for themselves, that did not fit into normal stereotypical societal roles, are trans. That seems to be more likely the case than anything else.
A lot of these modern women are going to have to understand that you're going to have to start taking some sort of accountability and facing some sort of consequence for your actions, right? A lot of these modern women get out here and they want to cut up, they want to act crazy, they want to do their thing, want to act silly. But then when the consequences come around, which by the way, whenever that happens, a man in a lot of these situations has to be accountable for the things that he's doing. But a woman, you hear from her, "I'm just a girl. I didn't even know. I thought that, this would, I don't know what happened." But can you fix it as the man? No, I'm not going to continue to fix your problems. At some point in time, this is what men are looking for. At some point in time, I want you to see the error of your ways. Nobody is perfect. That much is true. But I want you to stop behaving in this pattern consistently, where you continue to put me in a bad spot. And I got to deal with your consequences because you were acting stupid. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but you went out there and ran your mouth. And now you want me to fight this guy. This guy's 6'3", 250. Hey, you want me to go over there and get knocked out, get knocked over a bar, get knocked into an alcohol shelf or something like that. You want me to go out, man? Come on.
Tell me if this is normal or if I'm just a terrible person.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Nothing stresses me out more than when my husband is relaxing.
What? Someone you supposedly really care about is relaxing, and someone finds that stressful. That speaks volumes.
When he's at work, when he's working out, when he's cleaning the garage, when he's doing his laundry, doing the dishes, whatever. When he's up and busy and moving around, my resting heart rate is at an all-time low. I'm feeling amazing. My skin is glowing. I feel zen. I feel at peace.
So some women only feel good about themselves when their man is working. Ironically, if a man made this post, that would be considered misogyny.
The second he sits on the couch, the second he's sleeping in, I have the blood pressure of a hummingbird. My stress level is at an all-time high. I'm nervously sweating, I'm clenching my...
And what they're about to say next is actually 100% accurate.
Like, My poor husband can't catch a break. Like, unless the sun has gone down, the day is over, the day is done, we are both on the couch, we are both watching a movie, like, that's okay. But if the sun is up, if the sun is still shining, he best be moving around. He best be doing some work.
The moral of this story is, it's only okay for men to relax as long as the woman that they're with is also relaxing. Otherwise, they better get back to work. As they said, men really can't catch a break.
You do not care about fat people's health. Pretending like you do, okay?
Okay, but what exactly is that theory based on?
Because if you actually cared, then you would do research.
A lot of individuals that actually speak on these subjects have done their research. That's why they encourage those that are overweight to not be so.
You would learn about fat phobia, learn about colonization.
You know, it's going to be a good take when they bring colonization into it.
Learn about the history of why fatness is demonized in our culture.
It probably has something to do with the fact that a person being overweight tends to make them more prone to more health issues. But what do I know?
Have you never seen the Statue of Fertility? Have you never seen works of art throughout history?
I should point out that at the time those works of art were made, being overweight was a sign that someone had surplus. They were wealthy. They were privileged. But a lot of people don't want to mention that.
Me and my fat are gonna be over here looking hot. And I'm healthier than you.
Sure.
That's what really bugs me, y'all. You don't know how healthy I am by looking at me. Period. End of story.
No, that's in part true. Being overweight doesn't necessarily make a person unhealthy. However, the likelihood of that person developing conditions which will make them unhealthy in the future is much higher.
If you're a man and you're broke or you live paycheck to paycheck, you shouldn't be dating.
Could someone be a bit more obvious that all they value in a man is money? I'm not so great with subtlety.
You're not necessarily a bad person. Everyone falls on tough times. But as a man, how are you going to offer any kind of security to a woman if you can barely pay for dates?
Let's put a different spin on this. Since some women only value money and some men only seem to value looks, that means that it would be okay for a man to say, if you're not attractive, you shouldn't be dating. I don't think that would go over very well, but apparently this narrative is okay.
Just get your life in order first and then date. It's really not that hard. People have come at me for this before.
Gee, I can't imagine why.
And they say things like, oh, so poor people don't deserve love? No, that's not what I'm saying.
True. Someone never said anything about people in general. They were referring strictly to men who are possibly not the most financially stable, that they shouldn't be dating, implying that they don't deserve to have a chance at happiness until they have enough money in their bank account. Right? Or did I somehow misunderstand that?
Obviously, if you're already in a relationship and you fall on tough times, that you just get through it together.
I'm quite frankly surprised they even said that part.
But if you are a man and you are seeking a relationship, get your finances in order first. It doesn't mean you have to be a millionaire, doesn't mean you have to pay all of her bills, but you should be financially stable enough to take her on dates, to buy her flowers. And you don't have gas money, then you should not be dating. Period, point blank, this is a hill I will die on. You can come for me if you want, but it is what it is.
Right. It is what it is.
If your first reaction to hearing men are trash is not all men, not me, you are missing the forest for the trees.
Really? Do explain.
Now, either literally millions of women are lying about their experiences with men for no reason, or it's time to accept that there might be a problem with men.
Well, indeed. There is a problem out there with some men. That is the key word that a lot of individuals like to leave out of this particular conversation, is the word some, because it's so much easier just to generalize everyone than to actually focus on those individuals that are really the problem.
And I know that accepting that there is a problem with men means that if you do care about the state of the world, and if you do care about protecting the women that you say you want to protect, that it might mean you actually have to do something or say something.
And a lot of men, believe it or not, actually do something or say something, but yet they're still just seen as guilty as every other man because it's all men, right?
Just not being part of the problem doesn't make you part of the solution. So ask yourself, who are you protecting? The Brotherhood? What Brotherhood are we talking about? Because based on what I'm seeing from all these masculine influencers, they're ready to and eat you at the slightest bit of provocation.
It's almost as if that was an excellent example of the behaviors of some men. Again, they keep leaving out that word.
Men are out here claiming that they want to be protectors of women, but they will not protect women from themselves.
I would almost be willing to bet that someone that I could mention probably considers themselves to be an ardent male feminist. Yet, ironically, I'm not seeing how that's the case because they're not acting in the way in which a true feminist would be. Because feminism, after all, is about equality and equal treatment and fairness. Yet they're tolerating the unfair treatment of an entire population of people, men, based on the actions of some of those members of that group. Not very feminist-minded, is it?
No, because, like, how do you expect me to be submissive to you if you don't have any money?
The type of person that submits only if there's money involved. Right.
What am I submitting to? Poverty? Ew.
I mean, if a person's okay with being called any of the numerous names that type of behavior is called, then by all means, who am I to judge?
You know, a lot of these modern women, they go to these places for a week. They go overseas, they go on vacation for a week, and they come back saying, oh, the universe told me, you know, I need a man who surfs, I need a man who speaks Spanish, he's got a creative side hustle. You know, he's just this man that's adventurous. He just want to pick up and go at any point in time. Which there are some people like that. That's how they live their life. But what I'm saying is, you know, a lot of these modern women, this is what they want, right? So the guy that might be perfectly good guy, might be an accountant, because, you know, I don't subscribe to that sort of lifestyle. You know, I'm a little bit more, I don't want to say stable, but I live my life in a different way. Then you pass that man up, right? Essentially what a lot of these modern women go through is phases where I just want to travel. And then, okay, and now I'm in the phase where I just kind of want to stay at home. And there is a man, there's expected to be a man that's supposed to go through all those phases with you. Modern women, because they're in that phase, are picking the man that speaks Spanish, who likes to surf, just likes to have his hair in the wind for that phase. They don't understand that that's that man's way of life. I want to live her all the time. That's what I want to do. And you guys actually don't match. This is what you want for the summertime, or this is what you want for a couple of years. And then you want to move on. Okay, you know, I tried that for a couple of years. Now I want the guy who's a little bit more stable. Problem is, you actually should have, found a guy who does all of that, who is able to go through those phases with you. Maybe not perfectly. Maybe I don't want to go to the beach all the time, right? But I can do that with you. A lot of modern women, they need to look for an actual genuine friend with the same values. And I'm not saying, and I want to specifically say, he doesn't need to be like you. A lot of modern women are looking for themselves or their friends in a man. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for a friend to say, oh yeah, shoot, I'm down. Let's do it. Why not? Let's go. But then you say, hey, you want to stay in tonight? Yeah, I don't feel like going out. But modern women are doing something different. Like I said, they're looking, oh, that's all this man wants to do because that's all I want to do. And essentially what they're doing is they're binge watching. If it would be a Netflix show, they'd be binge watching it. And this, I'm just going to do this all the time. Every week when I'm not at work, all the time. Right? Until they get tired of it. Then all of a sudden that man is terrible. He's a joke. He's a disaster. And now you're putting his face and his name in. Are we dating the same guy? Like the guy did you wrong. He didn't. Now you're putting him on the T app. Like he did you wrong. He didn't. That's who that guy was. That's just the stuff he does. You picked the wrong man. You were looking for the wrong thing. And that's what modern women keep on doing over and over again. I pick a man that's all he wants to do is this. I have him for a couple years, and then another man that all he wants to do is this. Take him for a couple years, and they keep on rotating. They keep on doing that over and over again until one day I really want to settle down this time. And the guy that you actually needed 18 years ago has gone and got a family.